Yeah, so let me just include a few header files which are necessary for graphics programming. stdio.h, then we can go with conio.h, then we can go with graphics.h, which is the necessary header file inside which you will find various graphics program. Yeah, then you can go with void main. Now, can anyone tell me to convert the normal mode into graphics mode, what kind of code is needed to write here? Now I want to convert my normal mode into graphics mode. What should I write here?
A servo GD equal to detect one.
Yes, correct. I need to detect the drivers which are needed for graphics mode. So I can write integer GD equal to detect, comma, GM, and then you need using initialize using init graph function. I can initialize the graphics mode. Right? So name of the function is init graph, and where I need to give the entire path. So let's say it is and GD and GM, and let me give the entire path. In my case, it is in turbo C3 and BGA. And to draw any simple object, we can simply use the function like this. So for example, if I want to draw line, then I can use the line function and I can pass the parameters. Then I can use getch and I can close the graph. Let's run this file. So you can say I'm getting the output. Right? This line function is able to draw the line. Now, other than line, there are many functions which you can use to draw various objects. Right? One of them is, let's say I want to draw rectangle. To draw rectangle, name of the function is rectangle, which again needs 4 parameters. So again, for rectangle also you need to give the diagonal points. Right? You need to go with 2 points only, and rectangle function will connect both the points diagonally. So if I write 100 100 to 200 200, then again it will draw the rectangle like this. You can see. So here this is your first pixel, which is 100 100, and this is the second pixel, which is 200 200. So rest of this stuff is handled by rectangle function. What rectangle function does? It draws the rectangle for the given points. So this is the starting point, this is the ending point. And whatever points we have given, based on that, this function has drawn the rectangle. Is it fine? It's very simple function. Straight away you can understand it. But still, let me know if you have any doubts.
No doubt, sir.
Okay, great. Similarly, there is one more function to draw circle. We can use circle function. Name of the function is circle, where it needs few parameters. So can anyone tell me to draw circle, what kind of parameters are needed?
Circumference.
Radius.
Radius.
One is radius, correct. We need radius. Other than radius,
Pi value.
Diameter.
diameter. Why? Why diameter is needed?
Pi value, sir.
Which value?
Pi value.
Pi value. Again, I am
Sir,
not saying that you need to find the area of circle or anything. I just want that if I want to draw one circle, then how many parameters are needed? One is radius, that is for sure. Then
સર જે પોઈન્ટ ઉપર આપણે દોરવાનો સર્કલ એ પોઈન્ટ
correct. See, we need to find the location also. At which location I want to place the circle? At which location I want to draw this object? So you need to give the center point of the circle, and at the same time you can give the radius. So for example, in my case, let's say a center point I'm going with 100 100. So at 100 100, it will start drawing the circle at given radius. So let's say I'm giving radius 50. So what it will do, from 100 100 point, it will draw the circle which is having radius 50. Let's see. Of circle 100, and then it has drawn the circle which is having radius 50. So this is how it can draw the circle. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. One more thing. Let's say I want to draw an ellipse. And do you know the difference between circle and ellipse? Yes or no?
सर्कल थोड़ा फ्लैट होता है वो थोड़ा ellipse.
Yeah. So what exactly difference you can find in both the objects?
Circumference थोड़ा उसका कम हो जाता है, बढ़ जाता है ellipse में.
बढ़ जाता है, correct. So in case of yes, in case of ellipse, we can say that we need to go with the two radius. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
We need to go with the two radius. For x and y, we need to give the radius. While in case of circle, the radius will be common. So that is why in circle we are using only one radius. But in ellipse, from the center point, we may have different radius for both the directions, for x and y. So now, can anyone tell me if I want to draw ellipse, then how many parameters are needed?
4.
Four. Which are those parameters?
सर जैसे ऋषि ने पहले सर्कल में बताया था ना, एक तो पॉइंट चाहिए, बाद में एक y के लिए रेडियस और एक x के लिए रेडियस.
Correct. But in case of ellipse, to complete the ellipse, you need to give the starting and ending angle as well. You are right. First, you need 4 parameters, where first 2 parameters you can say it is for center of an ellipse. Rest of the 2 parameters are x radius and y radius. But in case of ellipse, to complete the entire ellipse, you can or you need to give starting and ending angle as well, because in ellipse you can draw even half ellipse also. In circle it is not possible. If I want to draw half circle, then using circle I cannot do it, but using ellipse I can do it. In that case, I need to specify the appropriate angle. One more thing, if you don't know what is the syntax of any function, then simply you can go to the help option, and you can find the index here. Fine, just write, let's say I want to go with ellipse. You can see here that function is there, and you will get the things. Here also you can see it is having x and y, starting and ending angle, and x radius and y radius. So ultimately, this function needs 6 parameters, where first 2 parameters are center of the ellipse, then next 2, which is starting and ending angle. So it depends on your requirement. If you want to complete the full ellipse, if you want to draw a full ellipse, in that case, what you can do, you can simply give starting angle 0, ending angle 360. So it will draw the entire ellipse. And then you can give x radius and y radius. Again, it depends on your requirement. If you want horizontal ellipse to be drawn, in that case you can give x radius more. If you want vertical ellipse to be drawn, then in that case you can give y radius more. Are you getting me what I'm trying to connect?
सर ये एंगल वाला समझ में नहीं आ रहा.
वो अभी मैं प्रैक्टिकल में समझा दूंगा, don't worry. But ultimately it needs 6 parameters. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Correct.
yes,
So now
sir.
let me use that function. Name of the function is ellipse, and let me give 6 parameters. First 2 parameters, that is for center, let's say 100 100. I think someone is not muted. If you are unmute, you can please mute yourself so that it avoids the disturbance. Yeah, ellipse 100 100, that is the center. Then let's say I'm giving 0 to 360 because I want full ellipse. I want entire ellipse to be drawn, and we know to complete the circle, the angle is 360. We need to cover all 4 quadrants. Fine, so that is why I'm giving 0 to 360. And let's say I want to draw horizontal ellipse, so I'm giving x radius more while I'm giving y radius less, so 150. So here 100 is the center of an ellipse, 0 to 360 is the starting and ending angle, 100 is the x radius, and 50 is the y radius. Let me run this file. You can see, and let me put other code in comments so that you can find it correctly. Yeah. So you can see this is an example of horizontal ellipse, where you can say center of an ellipse, which is 100 100, and x radius is 100, y radius is 50, and here I have given angle 0 to 360. So that is why it covers the entire ellipse. Now let's say I'm just changing the angle. Instead of 0 to 360, let me give 0 to 180. Can anyone tell me what will be the output now? Let me change the,
half ही आएगा.
yes, it will draw half ellipse only, correct. I am just changing the location also. Instead of 100, I want to draw an ellipse at 200. You can see. So again, the center would be 200, and it will start putting ellipse from the angle 0 to 180. So that is why it gives half ellipse only. And whatever radius you have given, accordingly, it will draw the object. So I have given x radius more and y radius less. So it looks like this. Similarly, if I want to draw vertical ellipse, fine. So instead of 150, I can go with 50, 100. Let's say I'm giving 50 and 100. So I'm giving y radius more. And let's say I want to cover entire ellipse. I want to draw an entire ellipse. So I'm giving 0 to 360 again. So instead of horizontal, now you can see it gives vertical ellipse. So this is how you can play with the parameters. Whatever requirement you have, accordingly you can draw the various objects using ellipse. If you want only first quadrant of an ellipse, then also you can do it. So for example, in this case, if I write 0 to 90, in that case, it will draw only the first quadrant of an ellipse. You can see. This is the first quadrant of an ellipse. If you want only second quadrants, then what you can do? You can give 90 to 180. Like this. You can see this is only second quadrant. Fine. So accordingly, you can play with the pixels. You just need to understand how the angle needs to be given. So if you need your half ellipse to be drawn, then you need to give 0 to 180. If you need even half of the half ellipse or any portion of any quadrant, in that case you can give particular angle. Is it fine?
यस सर.
Yes, sir.
मतलब
Yes,
सर
sir.
ये कंपलसरी है कि पहले ये एंगल वाला हमेशा उसके बाद ही देने का, पॉइंट के बाद?
Correct. It is compulsory because syntax is saying that first you need to give center and then you need to give angles. So it is compulsory to give the angles here. Now my
Okay, sir.
question is, can I draw circle using ellipse?
हाँ.
Yes, sir.
How?
यस सर.
Radius same करेंगे.
Correct. See, here I'm giving different radius, but now what if I give same radius? Let's say I'm giving 50-50, and let me draw the entire things by giving the angle 0 to 360. So now it should draw circle. You can see. And so it is your choice. So now let's say if you want to draw half circle, then now you can do it. You just need to change the angle. Using circle, you cannot draw half circle, but using ellipse, you can do it by giving the same radius. You can say this is the half circle. Fine. So it is your logic. You need to think what object you want to draw. Accordingly, you can choose the functions and you can pass the parameters. Because there are many functions which we are going to discuss. So whatever object you want to draw, whatever animation you want to draw, accordingly you will have to identify the appropriate functions. Once you identify the function, you need to understand what kind of parameters we need to give here, so that whatever object we need, it gets drawn here. And so this is how ellipse works. Any doubts so far?
No sir.
No,
sir.
No, sir.
नहीं, sir.
Okay, great. One more is there, which is arc. Do you know what is
क्या
arc?
सर?
Arc.
हाँ
ARC.
हाँ.
Arc. What is it?
सर एक सर्कल का एक पिज्जा जैसा पार्ट.
Correct. You can say it's the smallest part of any circle. Fine. So can anyone tell me, to draw arc, what kind of parameters are needed?
पहले तो पॉइंट, फिर एंगल भी
Okay.
चाहिए होगा.
I need to give a starting point. Okay, so that is the center of circle. Okay, then what else?
सर एंगल भी चाहिए होगा, कौन से साइड पे आर्क बनाना है.
Okay, so we need to give starting and ending angle, correct? Then
Then x
And
and y,
radius.
radius.
x and y.
And radius.
Radius.
So do we need x and y both the radius, or only one radius is needed?
So only one radius.
Only one.
We don't
Yes.
want to draw a full circle.
Then what? What if you
So
don't want to
length.
draw? Yes.
No, sir.
See, you need
Sir,
only
continue.
one radius, because ultimately arc is the part of circle only. It is not the part of ellipse. Fine. You cannot say whatever portion of ellipse you are drawing, you cannot say it is an arc. It is never arc. But any part of circle can be considered as an arc. So for circle we have only one radius. That is what we know. Fine. So you in arc, what you can do, you can give the starting angle. First you need to give the location. Let's say my center is 100. This is the center point of arc. Then you can give the starting and ending angle. Let's say I want to draw arc like half ellipse, so you can give 0 to 180. This is the starting and ending angle. And let's say I'm giving radius 100. That's it. So I need 5 parameters only. I don't need to give both the. Similarly,
सर चाहिए ना
yes,
सर एक ही
yes.
पॉइंट चाहिए ना
Which one?
हेलो
Yes, go ahead. I am able to hear you.
सर आर्क में पॉइंट एक चाहिए या दो मतलब पिज्जा जैसे पीस बनाना हो तो सर
See, using arc you cannot do that. For that you need to go with the sector, and sector is also there. That also we are going to discuss.
ओके सर
Portion of circle, whatever portion you are able to find. So let's say instead of 0 to 180, if I'm giving 0 to 40, you can see this is your arc. Are you getting this? But still it cannot draw the line and it cannot connect it. That you can do using sector. And that is one more function.
ओके सर
Yeah. Any doubts for arc, ellipse, rectangle, circle, whatever we have discussed?
No, sir.
सर एक बार सिंटैक्स बता दीजिए
Sorry.
एक बार आप सिंटैक्स बता दीजिए क्या बोला था आपने इसका?
Arc की syntax क्या है? Name of the function which is arc. Then first two parameters are for the center of circle, or you can say center of arc, which is 100 I'm giving in this case. Then starting and ending angle, and then only one radius, because arc is a part of circle, and for circle we need only one radius. So that is why I'm giving 100. You can change this radius from 100 to any value, but ultimately you need to give only one radius. This is what you need to remember, because arc is not a part of an ellipse.
ओके सर
Fine. Yes.
यस सर
Now one more thing. Let's say while drawing the objects, if I want to write something, for example, in this case, if I run this file, and here you can see there are two objects, one is arc and one is half circle. Now I want to display something with this object. मुझे अभी ऐसा करना है कि यहाँ पे जो हाफ सर्कल है उसके नीचे मुझे लिखना है कि हाफ सर्कल. How to write the text here? Can anyone tell me? How should I write the text? Can I use printf?
Text function. शायद.
Can I use printf?
सर
No.
प्रिंट तो यूज करना ही पड़ेगा प्रिंट करने के लिए लेकिन उसके लिए कुछ और होगा ना
पॉइंट देना
Correct. Let me.
पड़े कहाँ पे चाहिए हमें text?
Yes. Let me use printf function. See, I'm using printf function and I'm giving the text. But now, what is the problem? You can see here. The problem is while using printf functions, we are never giving the coordinates at which location we want to print this text, that we are not passing. So that is why it starts putting the text from the beginning, from the 0. Fine. So in case of putting the text at particular location, printf is not used. In that case, the function which is used is out text xy. Name of the function is out text xy. This is the function which needs 3 parameters. Fine. Where first 2 parameters are center, or you can say location. At whatever location you want to display the text, that location you need to pass here. So let me give the point, let's say 100, 100. And then whatever text you want to pass, you can write that text in the double quote. So let's say I want to write half circle. Now let me run this file. You can see. Now let's say I want to display this message half circle at the below. Fine. मुझे भी ऐसा चाहिए कि जो हाफ सर्कल मैंने ड्रॉ किया है उसके नीचे ही एग्जैक्टली मुझे चाहिए, तो मैं क्या करूंगा, मुझे पता है कि अभी मुझे उसमें कोऑर्डिनेट्स में चेंज करना पड़ेगा. I need to slightly move in the x direction. Similarly, I need to move in the y direction also. So I can increase the value. Instead of 100, 100, I can give, let's say 200 for y. And here, let me give 120 or 130. You can see still I need to go 5 to 10 pixels down and a few pixels. Let me go with 150, and here let me go with 220. You can see still I need to increase the x value, and I can decrease the y value little bit as per my requirement. Still I need to go with 155. You can see now it looks a little bit better. Still, if you want 2 or 3 pixels, in that case you can change it. Are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so whenever you want to display any text at any location, at that time you need to use this function. This is very important function, out text xy, where you can give the location, and then as a third parameter you can give the text. Whatever text you want to display, that you can write in the double quote. And one more thing, I had given the activity. How many of you have completed it? I have asked you to draw various objects. Have you done it, or still is it pending?
Yes, sir.
Sir, हो गया.
Done, sir.
Okay, so yeah, so if you
Yes.
have done,
Yes, sir.
if
Okay.
you have done that activity, then surely you will come to know that how pixels are playing. To draw any object, what kind of changes are needed to be done for the pixels. Fine. तो इसमें क्या है, अभी जितनी प्रैक्टिस ज्यादा करोगे उतना आपको वो प्रैक्टिस हो जाएगा, तो अच्छा लगेगा और आपको कॉन्फिडेंस भी मिलेगा कि मुझे कोई ऑब्जेक्ट को यहाँ से यहाँ मूव करना है, तो उसमें कौन सा पिक्सेल्स कितना मुझे वहां पे रखना पड़ेगा, वो आपको पता चल जाएगा. Yeah, so is it clear, out text xy?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Now I'm going to discuss one more function which is also very good. See, for example, if I say you need to draw pentagon, hexagon, or any kind of polygon, then as of now you know line function only. So what you will do, using line function, you will try to draw pentagon, hexagon, or even octagon, or any kind of polygon. Even rectangle is also considered as polygon. But now there is one function which is an inbuilt function, using which by going with less code you can draw polygon. If I ask you to draw hexagon, then you need 6 lines, and for each line you need to write the code, you need to write the pixels. So your code will be a little bit larger. So in that case, if you can use the inbuilt function, then within 1 or 2 lines you can do it. So can anyone tell me what do you mean by polygon? Can you define polygon? Anyone?
Side,
Sorry?
पाई साइड्स होते हैं शायद उसमें.
3 dimensions.
No, that is pentagon. I am not saying polygon. I am not saying pentagon. I am asking polygon. What do you mean by polygon?
A 3-dimensional shape.
No, that is not the polygon. That is the cube. Do you know the meaning of poly? Poly means what?
Sir, many
Poly.
of them. Many lines.
Multiple.
Correct. Poly means many. Poly means many. So here, if you remember in 10th science, you were going with one term which is, I think, polymer. Do you remember this? Polymer.
Yes sir.
Yeah, polymorphism.
What is it?
केमिस्ट्री में आता था.
Chemistry. Yes. What is polymer?
Polymorphism.
No, that polymorphism is different. But again, that is also a similar thing. You can connect it here. It's fine. But can you tell me what do you mean by polymer?
Something related to pipe or plastic, I think.
Yes, many atoms. Fine. Polymer means many atoms are going to be combined. So if you combine more than one atoms, and finally, if you can go with the products, then it creates the polymer. So ultimately, poly means many. So here, polymer means more atoms. And if you say polymorphism, it means more forms. In our terms, programming languages, we are using polymorphism. It means ability to take more than one forms. So there are many forms for a single thing. Similarly, if it is polygon, then the meaning of polygon is many angles. So if I am saying polygon, it means I am talking about many angles. So for any objects, if you have more than two angles, then you can consider that object as a polygon. Is it fine?
Yes.
For any object, if you have more than two angles, then it is always a polygon. But still, whatever I am saying is not enough. Let me just give one example. Hello. બોલો લેક્ચર ચાલુ છે. So let me share the another screen. See, for example, if I am I am saying more than two angles can be considered as polygon. So now this is my first angle, this is second angle, this is third angle, and let's say this is fourth angle. Can I say this is an example of polygon?
No, sir. Polygon
No,
are
sir.
So
always
object
closed.
एक होनी चाहिए.
Sorry?
So object
Polygon.
एक होना चाहिए.
Correct. It must be a closed object.
Closed
Fine.
object.
Correct. Condition is right. You have more than two angles, but it must be closed. If it is not closed, then this is not a polygon. This is known as polyline. And इसको हम क्या बोलेंगे? Polyline. There are many lines. That is why it is known as polyline. But if I want to define polygon, then I can say, let's say there are more than two angles and the figure is closed, object is closed. So you can say this is an example of polygon. Similarly, if I draw this object, so again you can see there are more than two objects. Sorry, there are more than two angles and object is closed. So this is also a polygon. Similarly, if I draw this, if I draw this one, if I draw this one, what is this? Is it a line? That's fine. Yes, out of this, how many polygons are there? Can anyone tell me how many polygons are there in this image?
सर सभी के सभी सिवाय वो अनक्लोज्ड वाला जो है ना बाकी सब पॉलीगॉन है.
Yes, correct. Other than this polyline, whatever closed objects you are able to see here, all these objects are considered as polygon. This is triangle, this is diamond, this is square or rectangle, this is pentagon, this is hexagon, this is an arrow. But all these can be considered as polygon because polygon says we have many angles and the object is closed. But each polygon is having specific name. Right? So for example, here I am saying it is pentagon. So pentagon is polygon, that is fine, but it is having specific name. That is why we are saying it is pentagon. After all, it is a polygon. Similarly, this hexagon is also polygon, but it is having specific name, and that name is hexagon. And this is triangle, that is fine, but triangle is also a polygon, which is having specific name, which is triangle. Fine. So for each object, specific name is given. That's why we identify the object using its name. Otherwise, in general, whatever closed object you are able to find, which is having more than 2 angles, can be considered as polygon. तो अभी कोई ऐसा object है, for example, if I don't know what is the specific name for that object. So for example, if I draw an object like this, I don't know what is going to be drawn, but still I'm just giving an example. I'm doing it randomly, so don't think I'm
हेयर
trying to
स्टाइल लग रहा है सर.
draw. I don't know what I'm going to draw. I'm just doing it randomly. Yeah. So for example, let's say I have drawn the object like this. So there are many angles you can see. If I start from here, then 1, 2, 3, then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2. This is an object which is closed where there are 22 angles. I don't know what is the specific name for the polygon where 22 angles are there. I don't know. And so I can say this is a polygon. But if it is having specific name, then you can recall it using that name. I think you are getting me.
यस सर.
Okay, fine.
ड्रैगन जैसा दिख रहा है, झुका हुआ ड्रैगन.
Correct. So वैसे मेरा drawing बुरा भी नहीं है. Yeah. So now to draw polygon in graphics, what you can do? You can simply use this syntax. Let me just go with the syntax. The name of the function is polygon. I think it is not polygon. I think it is Drawpoly. Yeah, I just remember now. It is not polygon, it is Drawpoly. Correct. See, name of the function is Drawpoly, which needs number of points. That is the number of angles. How many angles you are going to use in your polygon, that you need to pass here. And here, whatever pointers you are going to get, instead of that, you can pass the array. You can pass the array names. So in one array, you can define all the parameters, and that array you can pass here. So what we will do? First, we will create an array here. So let's say I'm going to create an array. Let's say array poly, or whatever name you want to give, you can. And here, let me give the static values. So for example, let's say I'm talking about a simple object to make it fast. Let's say I want to draw, what object I want to draw? Pentagon. Let me go with Pentagon. And let's start putting the pixels. Let's say this is, the first pixel is 100. Can anyone tell me what is the value at this pixel? What could be the approximate value?
200, 200.
200. You can go with that. I don't have any problem. What about this?
150.
150.
150. 300.
150 नहीं आएगा.
300.
Why 150 will not be there, Abhishek?
सर नीचे जा रहा है तो y बढ़ेगा ना.
But
लेकिन
150
यहाँ
is
पे
there.
X पड़ा है.
X
आया
है
तो
तो
बड़ा
X.
है, एक सम में घटा है.
This is X.
अच्छा हाँ sorry.
Fine. Yeah. Now what about this point?
The 5300.
5300. Correct. What about this one? Last one.
0.
Okay, 0. But let me go with 5 so that you can find it. 5 or 10. Yes, it could be
200.
better. 5 and 200. So here we have given the approximate values. So slightly you can say that slightly the object will be distorted, but still let's go with this only. So now what we will do, we will pass all the parameters in this array. So we'll start with 100, 100. This is the parameter for the first point. Then second is 200, 200. Then 150, 300. Then 50, 300. Then 5 and 200. And to combine, to close the figure, we need to give the starting point again, which is 100, 100. And how many angles are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now what you can do, once you create an array, let's say your array is created. Now to draw polygon, you need to use Drawpoly function. So you can use this function like this, Drawpoly. What is the syntax? First parameter is number of angles. So in my case, there are 5 angles. And second parameter is name of the array. That's it. You can give poly. Are you able to get me?
Yes, sir.
What we have done, first we have identified the pixels. For any polygon, what are the pixels? And then we have created an array for all those pixels, for all those points. So my array is ready and array name is poly. So now to draw the polygon, you can use this function, which is Drawpoly, where it needs 2 parameters. First parameter is for the number of angles. So in my case, it is 5. If you want to draw hexagon, in that case, you can go with 6. If you want to draw triangle or rectangle, then you can accordingly give the value like 3 and 4. And the second parameter is name of the array. So in my case, my array name is poly. That's it. Let me put other code in comment to see what output I'm getting using Drawpoly. Still the figure is not closed. Why? I think we need to count the starting point twice, because 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So in this case, it would be 6. Because we have given the values for 6 coordinates here, 6 points here. You can see this is first point, then 2, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. So whatever parameters you pass in there, accordingly you need to give the value here. So if you are going to draw hexagon, then instead of 6, you need to give 7. It was my bad that I just forgot to consider the starting point twice. And now you can see it gives polygon. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And so
Yes,
now
sir.
you can use this function to draw any kind of polygon, and you will find it very easy. You simply need to pass all the pixels in the array. Earlier, what we were doing, we were using various line functions every time we were passing the values. So it was a little bit complex. But now, if you know this function, then just create an array and use the Drawpoly function. That's it. Then
Yes, sir.
yes. So now I'm done. I'm done for today. Meanwhile, what you can do, see, for your tutorials, there is the first tutorial where you are supposed to create a doc file where you need to give the introduction of all the functions. So there will be around 30 to 35 functions which we are going to discuss in the upcoming sessions. So far we have discussed few functions like line, rectangle, circle, ellipse, arc, out text, xy, draw poly, and so we have covered 7 to 8 functions. So likewise, there are 30 to 35 functions which are useful for you to draw any objects. So that we are going to discuss. So in your first tutorial, what you are supposed to do, you need to explain each functions. Like what? You need to give the name of the function. You need to write the syntax. You need to write the use of that function and any one example like this. So for example, let me give one example. If I talk about line function, then you can see name of the function is line. What is the syntax? Syntax is line, then x1, y1, x2, y2. This is the syntax and semicolon. What is the use of this function? Use of this function is to draw line. If I want to draw line, then I can use this function. And what is an example? So for example, you don't need to write the entire programs. I don't want you to write the entire program starting from the header files. You can simply give one example like this. If I want to draw line from 100, 100 to 200, 200, then I can do it. So this is what you need to draw for each function. Are you getting me?
So document में ना
Yes, yes. You can create a doc file or you can create a PDF. It is your choice. But I want 4 things for each function: name of the function, syntax, use of the function, and any example. Is it fine?
okay sir.
Yeah, so whatever functions we have discussed so far, you can note it down and you can start creating or preparing the document. Otherwise, once you will start doing it after completion of all the functions, then you will not be able to even recall all the functions. So whatever functions we discuss every day, you need to have note of all the functions. And ultimately it will really help you once you create a doc file of all those functions. Then it will really help you. You can easily refer that file for any function. Done?
Yes sir.
Yeah, so now tell me if you have any doubt. Otherwise I'm done. I'm going to end this meeting because it's already 9 and I need to go. If you don't have any doubts, I can end this meeting.
No doubt, sir.
No doubt, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, thank you. So now you can join the next session.